Okay. So how many of you are in a journey right now of transitioning or wanting to or wishing there was, I'd like to just be able to make one big choice or thing like that? You're in movement. This is good. And how many of you think you're not? And like there's nothing happening? Oh, yeah? You really do. So here's the law of life. All things are moving. And if you think they're not, you are kidding yourself. So I'll say it again. All things are moving. You may say to yourself, I don't want anything to change. But everything's changing, which is not like, look out, lady. But I'm not saying that. But the law of life, the law of Buddha, is that life changes. Every day you get older, you're changing. Life is constantly changing. Okay, so I said I want to just point something out about what makes this time so phenomenal. The difference between who our elders were and who we are. They would never be in a workshop like this. They would never. Like my parents, your parent, well, maybe some of you are younger, your parents would. Especially when they come up to me and say, my mother introduced me to you, and I'm like, get out. But, right? But, what can you do, right? But the great turning point was World War II. The great turning point in the history of civilization. So I'm not going to give you a crash course in history, though it would be great with the way I teach it. But the important point there is that we entered the nuclear age. That changed everything, and it changed us. And it changed what we need to learn about us. We became a different species when we entered the nuclear age. And it activated an evolution, not just a change. And part of what it activated in us is the necessity of our becoming multisensory. Multisensory. So if you can imagine something, and I really, again, imagine, prior to World War II, we moved along like a horizontal line. So that every day moved like this, and we all used a watch. And so that if I said, how's time going? We all felt the same speed. Hour by hour, day by day. None of us spoke in like this. Time is just flying. Does time seem to go faster? Why all of you say that? No one did prior to World War II. No one was experiencing the phenomenon that time seems to be altered, is another word, and a more appropriate one. It seems like we're sharing an altered experience of time, or that time is in fact shifting within us. What is time? Time is a psychic experience. That's a very hard thing to explain, but it is. Okay. Prior to World War II, if I said to you, where's yesterday? Where is yesterday? Where is it? Most of you will point someplace. Well, it's behind me, or it's that way. So you had a sense that you were walking forward, so that the word forward meant future. So you had a sense of direction. So time was that way, past was that way, future was that way. But with time shifting, there is an emphasis on being here in the present. And how we're experiencing that is that we are a cultural value system has changed. Prior to then, people used to say we have to save and put money away and buy things at a certain pace of time. We just save our nickels and dimes and pences and pounds, and we buy things over a period of time. What's happened over the last few decades is this sense of choice and speed. Now we want our choices to manifest their consequences immediately. We want to choose something and we want to have it now. The idea of waiting for years to have something manifest drives us crazy. We want results immediately. Can you relate to that? Like, we no longer want to read anything that takes more than 3 lines. Get to the point. We hire people this occupation never would have existed before, to be time managers. What in the world is that? What is that? What is a time manager? I have no idea what that is, but think about that. Okay, so it's a time manager. What we're doing, and this is important because this is how we are unsure of the way in which we're making our choices, has a great deal to do with the speed at which you want to experience consequence. All right, so let me explain this again. How you are calculating your choices has a great deal to do with the speed at which you want to experience the consequence. Okay? And I see this in healing. The speed at which someone wants to heal has a great deal to do with the quality of choices they make on the healing journey. It's a calculation. So I'm going to explain that to you right now through healing, through choices, and then we could take those choices out and substitute anything. One of the characteristics about us, and I just said, when we entered the nuclear age, we went on an evolutionary shift. That shift brought us into what we could think of now as the psychic age or the intuitive age. All of you, every one of you in this room, is a multi-sensory human being. Perhaps you don't think of yourself that way, but you should. But you should. Oh, thank you, God. I didn't know where you went. Okay, so you need to understand this about yourself. You are not a first floor person, so I'm going to explain now how you have changed in ways that you don't know, and developing sensitivities that perhaps you don't know you have, but what you are and have experienced are the consequences of your sensitivities. When we're growing up, we are only educated around our 5 senses, that we can see, that we can hear, that we can taste, that we can touch, that we can smell. Those are our physical 5 senses. As we all know, they stop us from falling off a stage and from getting too close to fire and etc. We've been told that those are the only senses we have. And that is a misrepresentation of the quality and the sensory system of our species. That is not where we stop. That's only where we begin. We have emotional senses, we have psychic, we have spiritual, we have intellectual. We have a very energetic, we have a very complex energy sensory system. So when it comes to the subject of choice, what we do not understand about ourselves is that all of these other dimensions of ourselves, our intellectual self, our emotional self, our psychic self, our spiritual, and by the word spiritual, I do not mean religion. Do not go there. I will honestly put your head in the toilet for 7 minutes. Do not go there. I am talking about the side of you that is your sacred sensing system, your sacred sensors, your sacred intelligence, let's call it that. Your sacred intellect. You have sensors for all of these systems, every one of them. All of this part of the complexity of you, and you have a cosmic intellect. A cosmic intellect. Does that not thrill you? Okay, now, every time you make a decision, all of these parts of you participate. And you're part of the collective unconscious. You have an archetypal intellect. Your archetypal patterns. All of these are participating in how you make even what you would call the simplest choice, to wit, what should I wear today? What should I wear today? What should I have for breakfast? Now, you may think those are simple choices, but are they really? What should I have for breakfast? Let's say that you think, what a simple choice. But the whole of your system kicks into gear. Your intuitive system, your bio-spiritual ecology kicks in and immediately sends up signals. What is she missing? What is he missing in terms of electrolytes, balance, sugar balance, salt? Because your whole bioecology system is designed to keep you healthy and to return you to a center of balance and to manage you. So let's say you got up and you're craving sugar, which is my downfall. I always get up and crave something sugar these days, and I will beat this, okay? But it is at present, I'm on the battlefield. So, and it is a battle. It is a serious addiction. I'm suffering, but anyway, okay. That's as far as it goes. And then, all right, but my system is telling me, don't go near that. You are so off whack and you're experiencing it as a craving. So I recognize that I'm out of whack and my system is warning me because the craving is so serious. And that's how I understand the craving. The craving is, and because I speak craving fluently, I know that, of course it's tempting to go have that, but that's exactly what you shouldn't do. Craving that seriously tells you how out of whack you are. And indulging in that is exactly what you shouldn't. that's exactly the measure. Not until you get up and you feel like, should I or shouldn't I? And you're flatlining is when you are back in balance. The day that you flatline is when you are back in balance. So it's not a simple thing. Should I have honey? Should I in my tea? Should I have this? It's not a simple choice now, is it? It's a major choice to, should I go court diabetes? Let me think. It is not a simple thing. Everything you do, because your whole biosystem is now talking to you. When you ask that question, and if you hold still, you'll see that your body, your whole biosystem answers you every time you ask, should I eat this? I have a taste for something, what is it? Your whole system speaks to you because that's how we are wired today. We are living, psychic, spiritual, active creatures. And if anyone says, I've never had that experience, you are lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. It's impossible not to. Impossible. That is the same as someone who is 40 years old telling me they were never 39. This is how you work. The quality of choices we make today now have to include your consultation with your intuitive self, with your intellectual self, with your inner counsel, with you at every level. And the operative word is balance, B-A-L-A-N-C-E. Is the choice you want to make something that will help you maintain balance, throw you out of balance? If so, what are you going to do about that? It is not about anything else. If you then say, well, I want it, then follow it up with why. What is it? What is going on? Do you need? Are you being guided to do this? We will talk about that tidbit in a minute. So, making choices these days, no matter what it is, now involves your inner life. And this is not about what you believe in terms of telling me you're an atheist, agnostic, as if I cared. I could care less what you believe in that department. That does not change the fact that you are a high-functioning, energetic creature. I don't care if you're a druid, I don't care what you are. You are still a high-functioning, energetic being. So this is what you look like, what happens when I do a reading. Here you are. Here you are. And in an ideal world, simpler is better. This is your energy field. And I was always fascinated, and I do mean always, from the time I was able to say always, with, because coming from a Catholic background, with how miracles happened. Because, I went to school and they still had nuns in full habits, and I loved it. I loved every minute. I'm not one of those scarred Catholics who, I got such a kick out of them, and And I always wondered, how could they be in that thing all day? But anyway. And did they have hair underneath there? I loved it. Anyway. One of the things the nunsies always did was to read us saints of the day. And they always pick these saints that were, that they died and they were tortured and tormented and all of this. And that's how they became saints, and God loves you at the end of it. And I was like, Jesus. But anyway, but nevertheless, these stories often included the phenomenon of healing and miracles and extraordinary interventions from heaven. And that just struck me like, does that really happen? And it never left me, which is what eventually became my study as an adult. And then eventually, as someone in medical intuition, that led me to start looking into healing and do prayers. What happens when what's the mystery and the mysticism? And so you see, and it led me to this phenomenon that all spiritual teachers, and this is where you come in, because this is about power and choices. All spiritual teachers instruct their students to keep your attention in the present moment. Stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Keep your attention here. Now, just as a medical intuitive, I will tell you that when I do readings, here's your attention, here's your energy that's coming into you all the time. Now, it's pouring in right now. And we make choices all the time. And one of the choices we make, consciously or unconsciously, is where to distribute our energy. Where to distribute it. So if you think that in terms of getting 100 pounds of energy, let's say you get 100 pounds a day, let's put it this way, and you have to invest your 100 pounds per day. You have to invest it. And you can invest it in whatever you want. You can invest it in a creative idea, and in creative, and in your health, and in inspiring ways of being, and all kinds of things, in helping other people, and things that serve life. You can invest it in a combination of, that and inner work and, creative, and in healing, and in trying to do things better because whatever. Or you can invest a lot of money in keeping the dead alive. Very useless investments. Investments in things like resentments. This is keeping the dead alive. So we'll put an R there for resentments. So how many of you have resentments? Okay. And when I say resentments, like things that I think should have happened my way. We're going to put that here on the first floor. So we're going to tie it into your building. So how many of you have things that you resent because you think they worked out differently and they should have worked out in your favor? Because they should have been your favor, because you absolutely know how things should always work out. I'm asking you, own it. We're only going to be here today, so don't BS. Own it. That's it. That's good. Okay, so that's here. Now, this is a big question, and this is great, big, huge, not little. This is great, big, huge. When you are in a resting position, how many of you notice that your consciousness actively floats into a resentment and you start dwelling there? Okay, so I want you to picture yourself here at the first floor with your eyeballs going there, and that's all you can see. Okay, this is important. So here you are, and you're losing your power. to a resentment. This is what you're investing your life force in. Something that happened for some people months ago, some years ago. But there it is. That's what you're investing your life force in. Every day you get up and you are, the operative word, hemorrhage. You are hemorrhaging. Now, we're gonna talk about what you need this energy for and how you're wasting it, but that's for later. Okay. Now, here's another one. P. What do you think that stands for? Power plays. How many of you have control issues and you are engaged in power plays? Oh, Jesus. Where are the rest of you? How many of you are engaged in power plays? Hello. Okay. Now then, how many of you, this is big, huge, are the sort of person who just needs to get the last word in and you need to win? One or two hands up. All right? And how many of you never gets into a situation where a power play is involved? You're just fine. That's good. Okay, I got you all. Okay? Third, how many of you are stubborn and that's it? You just lock in and you don't budge. So the idea of going with the flow ain't going to happen, not with you. As we say in the States, the buck stops here. Okay, so alrighty then. See how good we're doing? Okay, see how good? This is for stubborn. ST, not saint, stubborn. Okay. So we're doing very good here. All right, now how many of you have in you this idea something shoulda, woulda, coulda for you, but someone interfered? It shoulda, woulda, coulda worked out for me, but damn, someone ruined it for you. The shoulda, woulda, coulda? You put your hand up. You are hitting it all the time. Okay, that's good. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And you are still losing power over that. Okay, shoulda, woulda, coulda. WC, that's SWC. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay, here's this. This is resentment over a relationship crisis. Cheating, betrayal, divorce, any of the above? Just a few. More. Okay, any of you betray someone? You really screwed their life up. Okay, that's good. I love it. Okay, how many of you have people in therapy because they know you? Hands up. Who think, Jesus, damn, I wish I never met you. And you know they're out there, and they wish, why did I ever meet them? How many of you? Hands up. Okay, so you know there are people out there thinking, if I'd never met that person, my life would be so much better. So you know they have those attachments to you, and they're losing power because of you. Hello? Am I talking to myself? Okay, all right, we have a few of those. And how many of you feel the same way about others? So you're hemorrhaging. Okay, got it. Okay, now, look at how well you do. See how much power you use all the time? Okay, now here's another big one. And this is a great, big, huge, big one. How many of you have your own made-up book that you have scripted? And in that book, you have put the rules of your life that you expect everybody to follow. Okay, and in there are, for example, the tone of voice someone can use with you, and the tone and volume they cannot. So, for example, of course, they don't know this till they've offended you. And you get to say, you can't use that tone with me. What tone? That tone? Right there. That one right there. Why not? Because I decided. When did you decide this? A while back. I was listening, playing the piano, and said, that's it. That's the tone you can't use. That one right there. That one, that's it. That's the tone. You just used it. You may not use that tone with me. And that volume, that one, that volume right there combined with that tone. You may not use that with me. And you've just picked it out of the randomness of all the tones and volumes in the universe. As if everybody should know that. But that's yours. Now, how many of you have your own random tone and volume that no one can use with you? Okay, so you've got that. Okay. Now, how many of you have also picked out you can't use that word with me? You have your vocabulary. You can't say that to me. Okay, but not everybody knows that until they say that, and suddenly you get on your high horse, and there it is. So you all have this. Mind you, nobody knows it until you get there. How many of you have issues of pride that you are losing power over? It's a matter of pride. I won't call that person. I won't this, I won't that. They offended you, humiliated you, and that's all there's to it. And so you've locked in and you lose power over that. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to show you how this translates into your relationship with time, aging, the speed at which you age, and the speed at which you get sick. There are big calculations here. The speed at which you get sick, the speed of coincidences, so that the choices you make calculate to actual speed. There's a reason I'm doing this. I'm not filling time. Now, back to Jesus and miracles. Oh, you thought I forgot that, right? All right, spiritual masters teach us to stay in present time. 2, in the language of Jesus, leave the dead alone. This is the dead. This is your burial ground. In the language of the Tao, these are spectacles you've gotten attached to. Spectacles. In the language of Buddha, these are illusions that you've decided to attach yourself to. And the subject matter of this workshop, you've made a choice. I think I'll attach myself to this. I think I'll make the choice to resent this. That is a choice you've made. It's a choice. I think I shall be angry about this. It's a choice. You have the choice, and you've made it. You've made a useless, foolish choice to attach and lose your power, and it's always because of pride or fear, or because you think you're entitled to a different outcome, which you're not. And you've decided to hemorrhage. Now, all the teachers say, stay in present time. This is what the spiritual life, the cosmic life is about. Your capacity to be in the world but not of it, and your choices follow suit. So that no matter what happens to us in the outside world, we're able to hold our center and not let our power leave our body and attach to what's ever coming at us. This is the biggest jewel you're going to get today. So that whether somebody is saying to you, I have £1,000,000 for you, or whether someone comes up to you and says, you're the worst person in the world, it doesn't matter. You do not sell your soul. No matter what. If someone says, I have £1,000,000 for you, and you say, okay, wonderful, that's right, you've just sold your soul. You've weakened yourself in front of them. You'll do anything for that £1,000,000. You're lost. You're lost. You're nothing. You're nothing. If someone says, you're the worst person in the world, now you're crushed and you're nothing. You've made the decision. You made the choice to weaken yourself no matter what this person says to you. Are you with me? It doesn't matter what anyone says to you. If you've already made the decision that no matter what anyone says to you, any day of the week, no matter who they are, the only person that matters is what you say to you. You. That you tell yourself first thing in the morning, you will be integrous. If you give your word, you damn well keep it, or you don't give it at all. If you say yes, you better mean it, and you say no, you absolutely mean it. This is the strength of spirit. So that when Jesus said to, he was fully present, Buddha, fully present, Confucius, fully present, Lao Tzu, fully present. So when Jesus said, heal, light came into matter without going into history. I'm going to say this again. Light goes directly into matter. So the illness in the body evaporated. Now I'm going to put it into terms of time. When I do readings on people, I look at where they are anchored. These are your anchors. Where you are anchored. Because all of these anchors, and I'm asking you this, like resentments and this or that, for every one that you answered, you've got 30, 50. Because I didn't even go into the big ones. I'll give you a biggie. How many of you feel entitled to things? Okay? Just for the hell of it. What do you feel entitled to?